So the Real Housewife of Durban came back. They gave us 3 more episodes on Friday, and I'm still in love with the show. I love it. Last time I confused these two women. I thought they were the same person, and I let me tell you, they are not. The lady on the left, we saw her in the first 2 episodes, and then I haven't seen her since. But the lady on the right is Laconco. Laconco, yes, I'm butchering her name, but that's her. And they are not the same person. I made that mistake in my last video. So these 3 episodes was a lot, and I enjoyed them. I got to know the ladies a little bit more, and I cannot express to you how much I like this show. I like the fact that these women are grown. They can be catty, but they're grown, and I like that. And it's different. So when we first started the episode 4, Nunku meets with Komodo. I don't know how to say her name, but I'm gonna say Komodo. About her wine that she's debuting, and Komodo expressed to her that it needs to be on point. Because Komodo run events, so she was giving her a few pointers. And the person, she's like, you need to have somebody there that knows about wine, can, talk about wine. And, Nugu was like, of course I am. But whatever. I don't know if I like Komodo. And again, I don't know if I'm saying her name correctly. But every time she comes on the screen, I'm like, I don't know about her. I don't know. And at that same, sit down, Moto was talking about the experience that they had with between Nuku and Ayanda, how, Ayanda and Nuku shared the same baby father, who is Ayanda's husband, and Nuku has a child with him. And at some point, Moto calls Nuku a baby mama, and that really triggered Nuku. She was like, "Don't call me that. I'm not his baby mother." I was like, oh, "Okay, all right, sweetie." So that was a thing. I was like, "Okay." So moving on, we finally meet Lacono. Lacono, God. She is something else. She's bold, she's feisty. I like her. We meet her, they introduce her to us, and she says that she likes, livestock. She owns animals. She has her own business. She makes her own money. And she didn't really go into if she's married. We know that she says she has a child, and she doesn't go into if she's married, because most of them are married to men with, you know, profound jobs. But she doesn't say who she's married to, and she just goes on, and she speaks a lot of Zulu. She's more out of everyone. She speaks the most Zulu, so I had to read everything she was saying. But so far, from what I can see, I like her. And Komoto was having an event about a skincare line that she's dropping. And at that event, Lonco was invited. She came, and Komodo's event was put together very well. And Moto was giving a speech. In the background, Ayanda, not Ayanda, Nunku was on the phone. Her event was put together, but I don't know. Like I keep saying, something about her is forced to me. Like she's forcing her character. I don't know how to explain it. But at that event, Lonko and the rest of the ladies went to sit down just to have a conversation. And by the way, when Komodo was passing, her product around for people to feel and put on because it's a skincare line, Local Messy behind was like, her products are not made for the black skin. The black skin needs butter. You need to have butter. I'm guessing that's what her business is. She makes skincare line also, but hers are for like has butter, stuff that's from Africa. I just like the way she said that. And I mean, if it's not made for the black skin, it's just not made for the black skin. I agree with her. But when they sat down to talk, and the girls was trying to get to know Laconco, and they started asking, well, are you married? Because I see a ring on your finger. And she was just like, well, if you want to know anything about me, you need to Google me. Just Google me. Use Google. Because I'm sure, some of them have read stuff about her. Just Google me, because I'm not, she said she's not even going to go into it. And I was like, well, you are on a show. Shouldn't we get to know you a little bit? So I was like, you know what? Let me Google her. I Googled her myself, and baby, this woman has a child with the president. Okay, El Presidente. She has a a child with the president, and I'm like, wait, huh? So I kept reading, and this man has the wives. Like he has, I don't know, I'm sure it was like 4 wives, 2 ex-wives, but for some odd reason, she's not a wife. It didn't say that she was his wife. I didn't see her on the list, because there's a list. So I'm like, wait a minute. So if you have a whole child with this man, clearly he has multiple wives. Why aren't you a wife? I found that to be odd. I was like, okay, you had a child with him, but you're not one of his wives. So what does that make you? And then I read on, and I'm like, this man, the president, was in prison for fraud, money laundering, and all of this mess. I'm like, wait a minute, what? She needs to talk about this some more. I know, Google is free or whatever, but I want to hear it from her. I mean, I guess that's why she didn't want to say anything, because her baby daddy is a criminal and a whole president. Well, used to be a president. He's not a president anymore. But there's some stuff that people need to know. But either way, she sat down with them. She was like, you want to know anything about me, just Google me. Google will tell you enough, sweetie. So, moving on. They moved on to Nuku and Ayanda having the children meet. And Ayanda is taking Nuku and Nothile, who is Nuku's daughter, to the gravesite of where, Fusi, I don't know his name, the father is buried. I thought that moment was so touching. I was just like, oh, this is really, really nice to see 2 grown women, coming together for the sake of the children, because that's what it's all about. I think Ayanda was taken back how Notile looked like her father and sounded like her father, which I really like that interaction. I mean, Notile looks like she's very shy. I think she should have when her mother asked her if she wants to go back to the gravesite later on, she said she wanted to go by herself. I think that's a good idea, because, I mean, it's okay to have closure with everybody, but you need that time, because, he was in her life, which I found to be crazy. But that was a cute moment. Like I said, I felt like the closure in this scene between Nunku, Nothile, the kids, and Ayanda. I felt like the closure was more for Nunku versus where it was supposed to be more about Nothile, because you can tell Nunku really was in love with this man. So I don't know, the way she explained it, like the situation she got into after, her and this man separated. She got involved with somebody else and she married, and it was an abusive relationship. Notile even has this new man's last name, and I don't know, maybe that guy kept her from, seeing and letting Notile and her father have an interaction. Like, that shouldn't happen. I don't know. But I thought that moment was very, very touching. And I like that these two women are getting together to let these kids be in each other's lives. For real. So, Laconco had a coming of age party. It wasn't a party, it was a celebration. It's part of her culture. She wanted to show part of her culture, and this celebration was coming up of girls of coming to age in her culture, and that was the most beautiful thing. Aside from the Notila situation, that celebration was so beautiful. Like the colors, the family getting together, the dancing, the singing. Oh my God, I was just in awe. I was like, wow, this is really, really pretty. This is beautiful. And I'm learning a lot as I'm watching this. And the one thing about Locono, she takes, her heritage and her background very seriously. And everything she does, it looks like she gives it 100. That's one thing I could say about her. So everyone came, with the exception of Nunku, showed up to her, the celebration, and they sat down. And when the food, like they sat down to talk and eat, they had traditional food. And it showed in the culture where when they're being served food, the people have to kneel down to them. Like, it just gives you, a lot about the Zulu culture and what goes on in that celebration. During that celebration, I mean, the food, the eating portion, Ayanda was served, everyone was served food, and Ayanda was not eating. She took the food, but she was not eating it. And Moto and Annie was like, this is the second time you did that when we're together. Like, you don't eat the food that's been given to you. And she explained to them how her brother was poisoned by somebody, serving him food. In the way that, her husband passed away, they do believe that he was poisoned also. So she said that, she doesn't eat things that are served to her unless she sees it. I guess like somebody that she knows that's cooking, that's the only way she eats. She don't drink anything that was served to her or eat anything that was served, which is understandable because the way her husband passed away and then her brother was poisoned. So, I mean, I get it, you know. So that was a thing. And I think Uncle, she didn't appreciate that. Like, nobody's going to do nothing to you. But you gotta understand, if those two things happen in her life and she chooses not to do that, that's her thing. I get it. So Annie had an event at her salon, and she invited the ladies. Everybody came, and at that event, this is what I'm talking about with Komodo. Someone comes out to bring them champagne, which was already poured in a glass, and they're passing it around. And she takes the glass, but she doesn't drink it. She sat it down, and, some of the women was asking her, why you not drinking? And she's like, well, I'm not going to drink anything that's given to me unless I see them pour it. Like, that's the stuff I'm talking about. I don't see it for Komodo, whatever her name is, Komodo. I don't see it for her. Like, she's just, to me, she just gives me, like, I'm a follower. She gives me that vibe. Like, why are you not drinking that? Like, who are you? You really that important that you're not gonna drink it at Annie's event because you saw that Ayanda didn't eat or drink at Lonco's coming of age celebration. So now at the next event, oh, I'm not gonna drink because I didn't see it pour for me. Like, girl, find your own identity. Do your own thing. Ayanda has a reason. You just doing it because you want to be a follower. I just don't see it for her. I really don't. I don't see it for her. I mean, if she stays on the show for a long time, she needs to find her identity and find out who she is. Because, girl, bye. Bye. Just bye. See you later. Anyways, so I had a few questions because there was some things that I did not really understand, and there's some things that I noticed, and I'm not trying to be messy. I really have questions. Sarisha, there were some scenes where when she's speaking in the confessional, that I noticed that her skin is I don't know. It looks like she has a skin problem. She has a skin problem, which is fine. Most people do. But it's really profound. Like, her arms look like they were burnt or something. And I'm like, what? What's wrong with her skin? Is she Indian? Is she black? Is she white? What? I'm confused as to what is going on with her. That was one of my main questions. Every time she pops up, it's just like, is it the lighting? What? She looks two different colors at some point. One minute she looks darker, and the next minute she looks lighter. I'm like, maybe it's lighting. And then at one point in her confessional, I could see her arms, and I'm like, okay, she looks two different colors. But I guess I'll Google that on my own. That one took me for a loop because I kept going back, and I'm looking at her, and I'm like, something is just not quite right. Anyways, those 3 episodes were really, really, really good. I like how they just show everything, and especially the celebration of coming to age. Nothile, going to see her father at the gravesite. And so far, I really, really, really like the show. And I don't know. I'm gonna keep watching. I guess they're gonna keep giving us 3 episodes because my God, it was long. I was up a long time watching this. But if it comes on, I'm gonna watch it because I like these women and I like everything about this show. See you next time.